afternoon. Welcome aboard. Nice to see you this afternoon. Just drop that. So this is, hi Carol, how are you? This is my third session of using the Stamparatus. So the Stamparatus is a stamp positioning tool from Stampin' Up. And I've done a Facebook Live each day of this week. So this is the fourth one. If you've missed any of the previous ones, if you are on Facebook, you can catch these up on replay on Jemini Crafts. And they'll also be uploaded to YouTube. So if you're watching from YouTube, you can click on the link that has product review and you'll be able to see all the product review videos together, including these. So lovely to see you all. Hi Tracy, hi Jacqueline. Oh good. Hi Moretta. I'm glad you're card making. It'll keep you out of trouble, Carol. Especially when you've got some time off. So yesterday I talked about a template which I had. And I decided, after quite a few asked for me to share it, which I was happy to do. I couldn't remember who I'd got the template from in the first place. So I thought I would create a new one with just some different sizes on, really. Hi Tracy. So I have released this yesterday on my Facebook page. And if you requested it by email, you should have it by email as well. So this allows us to do the stamping in the round that we were doing. Hi Carol, lovely to see you and have you join us. So this does 4 different sizes of card and it fits the base of the Stamparatus, and when you print it out it has a little border around it, and if you just cut somewhere on that border it will fit the plate really nicely. So hopefully that will help. It's slightly different to this. I've added the copyright notice and everything. Oh, that's okay, Carol. So let me know when you've had a go and used it. So that is available. So have a look on my Jemini Crafts page or send me a message if you need that. What you could do if you have a laminating machine or access to a laminating machine is laminate it. But to be honest, you could just print out. So did yours come out bigger, Tracy? Because often what happens is it will try and fit it to the whole page. So yesterday I did various ones, didn't I? So I did these 2 yesterday. So this white one here would fit inside the small red one. And then this one here would fit in the black one. So they've got to sort of go up in 1 centimetre increases. Oh, it came out smaller. That's really odd. So there were 2. Was it the PDF or the PNG file? I mean, what you might be able to do is just reprint and then fit, or just enlarge it on your printer. Give it a go. If it's a problem, Tracy, I can always print one and pop it in the post. Okay. So that's what we did yesterday, was stamping in the round. Okay. Maybe try the PNG file. Hi Molly. Thank you for joining us. So that was the ones that we did yesterday, the stamping in the round. So if you haven't seen those, then by all means go back and have a look at that. Really easy, really effective cards, and I've seen some people use them already. Maybe just reminded them. I don't suppose I'm teaching you anything new, but it might have just reminded you on something to do. So what I want to show you now is how, hi Baz, you're not on the coffee and chat, or perhaps you're multitasking, is how to stamp on die cuts repeatedly. So for example, I have these die cuts, And what I want to do is stamp happy birthday on those. But I know if I manually do that, hi to Jeanette, then some will be misstamped, some will be slightly wonky, even with the best will in the world. So what we can do is create a template for one of these die cuts, and this works with punches as well. Okay. Baz, if you look on my Jemini Crafts page, it's listed on there, my darling. Okay. So, what I've done is I've taken a piece of cardboard. Now, you can just use normal. Oh, hi, Anne-Marie. I'm glad it arrived okay. Just a normal card. I tend to use a bit of cardboard from one of the from packing, and I'm going to pop that into the corner, and then I'm going to put my die cut into there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my, I thought you might be, line up my stamp onto the die cut inside the template, like so. I hope that makes some sense. Oh, bless you, Jane, only just started, you're okay. Don't panic. Sit down with a cup of tea or a cold drink or something. So I positioned the stamp on there, on the die cut, in my template. So to do my template, all I did was run the die cut through the card. Now if I take my plate, and I'll do it to the side because that's probably less in the way of the camera, but let me just move this along a little bit. Hope you can see that all right. So I position that on there. I'm not 100% sure it's in the right place yet, but we'll just stamp it and see. Okay, so what I can do now is just ink up that stamp. Now this saves you aligning something on the Big Shot or your die cutting machine or in a punch every single time. So I've just popped that down there. Now I can see that's very slightly, if you can see, very slightly going downhill. Actually, because I can see that is going downhill a little bit. So let me just wipe that and reposition it slightly. I'm just going to use the reverse of this, so just so I'm saving die cuts. You could just have a piece of paper underneath that for practicing. So it goes down, it went downhill, didn't it? So I'm just going to reposition that, lift that very slightly. I think that's about right. It's difficult to tell, isn't it? If I do it too much, it will be going uphill. So it takes a little bit to get it sorted, but it's worth doing. Okay, I'm just going to use the back of that again for practice. Ink this up. I could put my magnet on there. The main thing is this template is up in the corner. That's all that matters really. So now if I stamp that, there we go. I'm happy with that. Okay, so the good thing is I can now do a whole bunch of happy birthdays. I could change the colour. So this is a great way of getting a whole bunch of banners ready if you're doing birthday cards or something. So there you've got 1, 2, hello Linda. And they're all going to be in exactly the same place, like 3. Okay, now this could be a complicated die cut. It could also be from a punch. So if, for example, we had this, I don't know if you remember the cake punch that we used a little while ago. So with the retiring set, the birthday cake one, let me just show you how you could do that. Let me just grab a piece of spare card just to show you how easy it is. And even if you only wanted the cake, you know, if you didn't necessarily, you don't need the stand necessary. So what you would do is you would punch out, I don't know, 20 of these little cakes ready. Okay, and then we can position it. So normally what you'd have to do is stamp your cake, then take your punch and line it up every single time, which is fine if you've got a good steady hand for punching. But this way what you can do is punch 20 blank white ones, for example. Let's just put that this way round. Okay, let me grab the stamp set if I can find it. I'm trying to think what it was called. Da, 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 da. Piece of cake, there it is. I was just thinking I was going to have to get something else out now. So here's a piece of cake. So if I just pick out this, let's say this happy birthday sentiment, okay, which is here. So what I can do, let's put the magnet on here. Okay, just make that sure that's up in the corner. I can, and it just sort of slots in. You can feel how it slots in, because there's, you know, you've got a little bit of card round it. Let's take my happy birthday off there. Pick this one up. Okay, and now you can pop the first one in. Close enough. This is where it's quite useful to do this in a different colour, the stencil in a different colour, because then you can see where it's got to go. And then press that down, and then you've got the perfect happy birthday. Now if you're doing it for one, you would just stamp it and punch it out. But if you wanted 10 cakes all punched out and stamped, just punch out 10 white ones, and now you can just put them in here. And then what I do is you can keep the template with the punch. Obviously it doesn't take much to punch out another one, but what I will do, for example, is keep the template for the stitched one with the sentiment set, with the frames, dies, got there in the end. And then that's ready to go for next time. It saves you creating another template. So that's die cutting, using the Stamparatus to stamp the die cuts. So just to show you an extension of that, as I said, if you're just doing one, probably isn't worth it, because you could have a couple of goes and it wouldn't really matter. Let me take the stamp out of the way. So what I've done, just to show you can do this on another level, so these are the maple leaves from this really lovely set. This is another set that's retiring. Hi Julie, called Colourful Seasons. I think I used it relatively recently. So it has spring with the cherry blossom here, summer with the deck chair, autumn with the leaves, and winter with the snowflakes, and some lovely sentiments that go with it. Okay, so this one is retiring, but let me show you how you could colour in the maple leaves and have them all die cut. So what I have done is I've done exactly as I did before. I've cut a template with the maple leaf. Now, because obviously it was a thin die, I do need to run it through a few times to make it get it through the cardboard. But I can just pop this here in the corner, or wherever I want it to go. and then position my stamp, and if you just feel, it'll just drop into the gap. Okay, so that is the solid stamp, like so. And if I want to, I can use the same plate or a different plate. I'm just going to use a different one. She says I've got them all out all over the place. No, I can't even see. Oh, there it is, right in front of me. So I'll have one up here, and this one is going to have the detail of the maple leaf. We're going to pop that in there, like so, and pick up the stamp. Okay, so what I can now do is just take my die and a piece of whatever colour card. So I've got white card here, and I've just die cut a few maple leaves. So all I need to do now is pop the maple leaf in the slot, like so, and then ink up my two stamps. So if I wanted both layers, I may not do. So this one is Pear Pizzazz. So I'm going to do that for the solid image, like so. Lift it up and over. It's going to stamp it in exactly the right position, like so. It's a bit sticky, it's stuck to the card. Oh, so just to show you, you need to press nice and hard, so I'm just going to put that back in. I can still see this ink on the card, and I haven't got this level, that's why I've got something underneath it. So let's just try pressing that again. So this is the benefit of the Stamparatus, is you can go back and redo it. Obviously I've got a very sticky ink pad there. There we go. And now I can do the detail with the old olive. Now this particular die does have a white area around the edge, so you could get around that by stamping onto a piece of actually Pear Pizzazz card if you wanted. Okay, but this is the layer with the veins and everything on it. And there you go. I'll just pop that up. You've got a perfectly stamped die cut piece. So what this saves you doing is having to line this up when you die cut it. So just to show you how quickly you could just do another one, let's pop that in there. Let's just do the leaf first, outline first. I've got a feeling that moved. It did, didn't it? Here. Let me just grab another one. There we go. Alright, put that in, make sure that's up on the edge. That's what I did wrong. Okay, and then let's re-ink that again. That looks better. So that's because my template had moved. And then this one here. There we go. So we've got two maple leaves. Now the chances of me, I'd be alright probably stamping those, but the chances of me being able to get that die cut with that tiny stalk in the right place is quite slim. And this is a lot quicker, because you would literally just punch out 10 leaves or whatever number of leaves you needed close together, create a template, and then just put them in and stamp one after the other. Okay, so I don't know if you've seen that before, anybody who's watching. And it doesn't have to be a complicated die cut. As I say, with the Happy Birthday one, it could just be a straightforward shape. And as I say, you could do it with a punch as well, if you want to. Even if you're just stamping a sentiment in a punch, it would work. Right, let me move these out of the way, pop them back into this set. And then what I tend to do, if I have spares, oh, new Jemini, good. If I have any spares that I've already pre-stamped, is I put them in with my stamp set so that I've got them ready for next time. So it may be when I come back in, I only want one or two, and if I've got any spares put in there, then they're ready to go. Okay, so that is stamping onto die cuts. So I hope that is useful. As I say, it takes away a lot of the pain, for sure. And those are my happy birthday ones, so they'll go in with my birthday stamp set. Or sometimes I keep them in a separate place with my die cuts. And then that was the one we did with the birthday one. So it just saves that time getting things lined up. It just makes it a lot easier. Okay, now the second part of this was to show you how to do some mirror stamping. So mirror stamping is where you flip something from one side to the other, left or right, or top to bottom, so that the image is facing another image, which could be the same or it could be different. Let me clear this out of the way. So what I have chosen is this fun stamp set called Animal Outing. This is another one, sadly, that's retiring, so I thought I'd better get some more use out of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the rhino, and I'm going to stamp one this way and then the other one facing him or her. So here is my rhino. It hasn't got its index plate on, but it won't matter for what we're doing. Okay, I don't need two mats for sure. I'll leave one there. So what you do need is a silicone mat. Okay, so this is a slightly spongy mat that we're going to stamp the ink onto, and then we're going to use this to transfer the ink onto our card. So we sell the silicone mat, it's £5.50 in the current and the new catalogue. So if you haven't got one, I can order one for you. You may have got something similar at home that you could use. Silicone mats have been around a long time. They're used for lots of different things. You can use them for as a base when you're gluing, because the glue doesn't stick to them. It's like the silicone you use when you're baking. So what I'm going to do first of all is grab a card and just pop my magnet on here. Actually, I'm going to put the magnet here because I'm going to put the sentiment at the bottom, I think. So what I'm going to decide is where I want my rhino to sit. Bear in mind that it will be a complete mirror image, so you want it far enough over, so you want it obviously no further over. Oh good, thanks Jeanette, I'm glad that's helped. No further over than the centre line, otherwise the two images will cross over. So it depends on how much space you have. So the further away they are, you'll have a bigger gap in the centre. So it just depends on the size of your card as well. So let's put this one here. Now I'm going to have a little bit higher or lower. No, I think that will do that. That's his tail. Okay. So what I'm going to do is stamp him in that, or her, in that position first. Let me just pick up that. Now I don't need, I've got a bit of ink on there, I don't need the foam mat. So that just tells me actually that he's slightly high, the way he's sitting. So Let's do it like that. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp it and see where it sits. Still looks high to me, so I'm just going to cheat and straighten it on here. Right. Let me grab an ink pad. So I'm going to use Early Espresso. You could use a grey or you could use a black. What you do want to use is a Stampin' Up standard ink pad. You don't want to use Stays On because it won't work with Stays On. It will work to an extent with Memento, but a dye-based ink is much better. So I'm just going to see if this is in the right position to start with. Yep, that will do nicely. So let me grab a piece of paper that we're going to use. So use some scrap until you've got it in its right position to start with. Okay. Make sure that's on the corner. So I'm going to ink this one up first and then press that down. So I've got my rhino in position like so. I'm going to take that away, and what I'm going to do now is put my silicone mat down like so. Again, right up into the corner so I know it's in the right place. I'm going to ink up my stamp and transfer the ink onto the silicone mat. Okay, so that was in the same position as previously. I haven't moved anything. Okay, so you can see it's transferred onto the mat. Now what I like to do is do 2 layers, because it's going to be slightly lighter when it transfers. So that means there's just a little bit more ink on it. Okay, I'm going to pop that down like so. And now what I'm going to do is take my piece of card with him on the right hand side, turn it over and position this card back over that image. Okay, I'm going to pop that on. I'm not going to worry about cleaning the stamp, and then position this down. So because this is the same position as the one behind it, it transfers the ink over. Now if I turn this over, all being well, I have 2 rhinos. Okay. Now the nice thing about this rhino, I don't know if you can see, is this rhino is actually double-sided. 1, 2, in exactly the same position. I appreciate you can't actually see that unless I cut it out. Okay, which is great for mobiles and things like that, because you can make them double-sided. Okay, would you like to see that again as a sample? I'll do it with a different animal. Just so you can see. Just wipe your mat down in between, but do make sure your mat is dry. Okay, let's do it with, I'm going to do it with this bird here. Now this bird features in my next class in a box, so I can show you how we can have 2 birds facing each other. So let me grab a piece of card. This one will do. Okay, so exactly the same principle. I'm going to position my bird where I want it. Now what I'm going to do is, because this is, well, slightly smaller, I'm going to position this a bit further over. so that we've got a little bit more of a gap in the middle. There won't be much, but just to show you. So stamp his face down like so. Pick that up. Okay, put that on there. Ink it up with the ink. As I say, you really want to use Stampin' Up basic ink colours for this, because they're wetter. Well, mine are usually. Okay, so there's my bird on the left hand side. Take that out of the way. Hi Maureen. Pop your silicone mat in its place. I don't know if you've done mirror stamping, Maureen. This is what we're doing at the moment with the Stamparatus, so you can change the way an image sits or do multiples. So here's one, which you can see quite clearly with the espresso. Going to ink it again so that it's nice and wet, like so. Take my original piece of card and turn it over, put it up in the corner, and this is where having it on the corner is important, because it needs to be in the correct place. And then I'm re-stamping that on the back, so this is pressing down on that image, transferring the ink on the reverse. It's also transferring it from here, but that's okay. And now if I lift that, I have my two birds facing each other. Okay, so you can do that without a Stamparatus and just transfer it onto a piece of silicone mat and then over, but it's quite a bit more difficult. So I'm going to add a sentiment to this, and the sentiment I'm going to add, which I thought was really appropriate, will be the last one I come to. No, not that one. Here it is. Which is, life is better with a friend like you. This is great for anniversary cards, of course, wedding cards, birth of twins cards, anything like that. Now I could obviously do this also in the Stamparatus. So this one is going to go underneath and this one is going to go on the top, and then I'll just do some colouring in of those sweet little rhinos. So let me grab the espresso. Oh good, Anne-Marie, I'm really glad. Very often, especially with equipment like that, we do buy them, use them extensively when we start, and then we stop using them. So here we go, like so. And then these ones, this is going to go on the top, and I'll cut this. This is just an odd size of card, so I will stamp this, and then I'll just colour these to finish, which you're welcome to watch if you wish, but you don't have to. There we go. Okay. Let me move those out of the way. Grab some pens. So I've got some Blends pens here in grey, really. I know they can be sort of brown colour, well, mostly mud colour, really, aren't they? Hi, Alexis. So I'm just going to just do, what's this one? Light smoky slate. A little bit of this all the way around. So I might use some dark actually on the edges. Let's see. So this is nice because it's got that shading in already. You could obviously leave them plain as well if you wanted to. and they've got little birds on their top of their horns. Let's see what, this might be too dark actually, so this grey granite, yes. Well, actually, use that for the dark and then go over with the others. So doing that feathering coming in from the edge so it gets lighter. Oh, bless you, that's good. I'm glad it's helping, Alex. As I was saying to Anne-Marie earlier, we get these tools and then we play with them when we first get them, and then we put them away, don't we? So if you didn't see the beginning, that was using the Stamparatus to do fill-in die cuts, then hop back and put it on replay as soon as we're done. It does come up quite quickly. There we go. Let's have a little orange for the birds, I think. Bit of pumpkin pie. And obviously you could build up this picture, you could mask little bits and pieces off, you could do all sorts of things with it. So, you know, take it a step further. There we go. Put a bit of green across the bottom, and then I'll just finish that bit of colouring in. Let's try the other end. That one's rather dried out. My most popular one is light old olive, which is this one here. So just a little bit of green underneath. So they're sitting on something at least. And then I'll just use the light smoky slate actually over the rest. I shall miss these when they go. They're very cute. In fact, quite a lot of the animal stamps are going. So Fable Friends is going. The Easter one, no, that is the Easter one. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, the cats and dogs, the Happy Tales. They're going, if you like the cats and dogs. So if you want a run through of anything that's retiring, you can find that on my Gemini Crafts page and on my YouTube channel as well. So not doing a huge amount of technical colouring in. Go. Just blend that dark into the light. So our session tomorrow is Fun Friday, so something light-hearted and a bit of fun, and that will be at 3 o'clock, but also on replay if you wish to join me later, especially if you're working or busy, whatever. I'll just finish this one off. And we're done for today. So I release my class in a box booking tomorrow. So I'm just doing the last of the photography for it. the design's all done. The only problem I have is I design more than I actually need. So it's a case of working out which ones make it into the kit. So if you haven't seen that and you want to be on my mailing list for that, just add a comment. Basically, it's everything you need, apart from the stamps, which you can buy optionally, or you can use what you've got at home. But it has all the card bases, the templates, the papers, die cuts, ribbon, etc. There we go. Let's pop that together. Oh, hi Scylla. I'm afraid we're nearly finished, Scylla. So we were doing mirror stamping. I don't know if you've done that already on the Stamparatus. I'm just going to put those layers together. So this is a grey granite base. I like the way the ink comes through and it matches it exactly. Just going to pop that on there, keeping my finger underneath before I press it down. Oh, am I sitting out? Yes is the answer, but I may be on our village green because where I live is tucked around a corner, so there's only 2 houses next to each other. Oh, that's okay, Marlene. I was getting a bit worried about you because I hadn't seen you for a couple of days, and I was going to call you to make sure you're all right. So I'm glad you popped up. So yes, I might well go on to the village green on Friday at 4 o'clock for afternoon tea. Take my coffee with me, won't be tea. And a chair. So we're lucky we've got a little green in our close. So there we have it. So that's the finished mirror image stamping of those cute rhinos. I will just finish this one off, but if you don't want to watch me colour it in, don't feel you have to wait while I do that. I think I'm going to do them sort of blue and yellow. I'm not very good on my birds. So let's do, I've got, what have I got? Light and dark pool party. What I might do, if anybody's still here when I finish this, is just show you 2 of the cards for this month's card in a box as a preview, if you wish. If there's nobody left afterwards, it's fine. I won't have given away anything, will I? So I don't have to do these in mirror images really, but so I've got a sort of light blue going on there. They look like budgies like this, don't they? Budgerigars. So I've got just a bit of darker going on there. On his tail. How much are they? Oh, what, the glass in a box, Carol, do you mean? Glass in a box is always £20, and there's enough in there. So let me see who's here. Molly's had one, Marlene's had one, and they have 6 by 12 inch papers. Enough for 8 cards, so you get 8 cards, 8 envelopes, loads of extras, and you get ribbon, you get a full tutorial. Thanks, Jeanette. Video tutorials for all of the cards, and then you'll have plenty left over. So anybody's willing, welcome to join that if you wish. Yes. Does that mean a yes, please? So I'll send you the details. Well, I'll make sure you're on the list for when the thing comes out. So you can do it on subscription, or you can do it just on a month-by-month basis. And every month it will be completely different. So there'll be no duplication. So Molly's here. She might be able to say what she thought of her first one, because the first one came out. When did the first one come out? April. I have to think about that. All comes in a box that goes through your post box, unless you've got one of those tiny little Victorian post boxes, in which case it won't. There we go. Let's do a little bit more of that blue. I might add a little bit of green in. I can show you the cards that were made with the last kit as well, if you would like, to give you an idea. Hi Marianne. Molly, Carol says, was it good, the card kit? Marlene had one as well. She's here. Oh, thank you, Molly. Molly's shared her samples with us already. She did a great job. As did Marlene. And you can follow it, you know, as I've done it, or you can do entirely your own thing. Let's put a little bit of this on the ground. There we have it. I need a bit of brown in there, I think, but probably do. They do look like budgies, don't they? At least I think they do. Right, let's just chop this one up, ready for that'll fit on a note card, I'm pretty sure. And then we're done. Yep. So our standard note card is 3.5 by 5, so that's 3. So it's going to trim this down a little bit to make sure it was straight, because it wasn't very straight to start with. Because I was just doing it as an offcut. Never mind, might as well make it into a card. There we go. There we are. Just pop that onto a base colour. See what I've got. So I've got Coastal Cabana. Oh, thank you, Marlene. I think that would do nicely, really. Either that or black or grey. And then I'll pop it onto a note card. There we go. Let me just see if I can, just want to measure that edge just a little bit smaller. Just do it on my guillotine that I dropped earlier. Bear with me. I haven't gone anywhere. Let's see if that will got away with that. Just want a little bit of a border. That will do. Perfect. Okay, so let's just put this together. I've got much better at finishing off cards and giving them away or sending them. I used to end up with lots of half finished fronts of cards. And now I've got used to finishing them and sending them straight away, or giving them to my local charity, or to more recently my friends that are self-isolating because obviously they can't get out to send them, to buy them. There we go. So that is our second one, just showing you how you can do reverse image stamping. There we go. So let me show you quickly. So this is for Carol's benefit. And so this is a sneak peek for those of you that have been following my card in a class. So this is 2 cards, so you can do a variation of these. Oh, I haven't trimmed that bit off because I did it literally before I came on air. So this one is stamped and coloured in, and this one is cut from the paper. So in all of the examples of the cards that we do, you don't have to have the stamps. So the stamps are optional. This is the Free as a Bird set. But it does mean that you can do all of the cards with the papers alone. Okay, so that's a sneak peek coming up, and that's counted as 1 card. So there's 2 variations, but it's just 1 card, but you will get enough for 3 of those anyway in your pack. And just to show you, Carol, some of the ones from our last class in a box. There's this one, so you get all the die cuts ready. So there's this one here, which was a shutter card, opens like upside down, like that. We had the card with the strips of paper, so you get all of these die cuts and everything else. We had an opening one like that, made by a 6x12 piece of paper, and then this one, so you can sort of see the things that we have. So you get all the papers, all the cardstock, all the envelopes, ribbon and everything to go with it. So that was the last one. That's not all of them, that's just the ones I put together that I just happen to have on my desk. So that's all there is for today, folks. So I hope you enjoyed our 2 tips for today. So if you joined us late, do hop back and have a look. So this was the main thing, was the mirror image stamping, where you flip the image from left to right, and also you can flip it top to bottom as well. If you wanted to do a reflection, so a tree reflected in the water, you could do that in exactly the same way. Okay, and then what I would do is not re-ink the silicone mat in between. You'll know what I mean when you come to do it, because I did re-ink the silicone mat. So thank you so much for joining us today. So Fun Friday tomorrow, 3 o'clock UK time. Thanks, Anne-Marie. Oh, thanks, Babsy. We're just wrapping up. So do have a look through the replay if you think that would be useful. Mirror stamping, and also stamping onto die cuts to make your life a lot easier. So using a die cut template to stamp multiples of the same thing, so that you don't have to sit there and line them up in your die cutting machine. Thank you so much. I'm glad everything is proving useful for you. Always let me know if you're getting bored of me, bored of my voice. And I'll see you Friday at 3 o'clock tomorrow, VE Day. Thanks everyone. Please stay safe, take care of yourselves, take care of your friends and your loved ones where you can, and keep crafting. Thank you so much. Bye bye.